The intention of this session is to give a quick overview of the economic development of Tanzania. Now, Tanzania is found here. It's a country to the east of Africa, bordering the Indian Ocean. This is the island of Madagascar. There's also a little island here which is called Zanzibar, which is also part of Tanzania. So a few key dates. During the 1500s, the Portuguese controlled most of Eastern Africa. In 1919, the Germans had been sort of controlling Tanzania, but the UN gave Britain a mandate to watch over Tanzania, or Tanganyika as it was called, which was mainland Tanzania. In 1961, Tanzania got its independence, and then in 1964, Tanganyika and Zanzibar merged to become the Tanzania that we know today. Now we're looking at the economic development of Tanzania. All economic development is improving people's quality of life by increasing the number of goods and services a country produces. So you'd hope people would become more wealthy as a result of that. Now let's have a look at some key facts. These key facts show how developed Tanzania is compared to the UK. Tanzania being a low-income developing country and the UK being an advanced country. Now if we look at this table, the populations of the two countries are fairly similar. If we look at the population growth rate though, Tanzania's population is growing very rapidly compared to the UK, and this will be a disadvantage because there are more mouths to feed, more people to look after within the country. If we look at the birth rate, Tanzania's population is having many more children than the UK's, making it a youthful population. If we look at the death rate, the UK's is actually higher. It's higher because the UK has an ageing population and nobody lives forever. So if you've got an ageing population, there'll be more of those elderly people dying. If we look at the life expectancy, people in the UK are expected to live almost 20 years older than people in Tanzania, suggesting that medicines and health and food provision and cleanliness of water are much better in the UK. The literacy rate is 99% in the UK, whereas 77.9% in Tanzania. And there's a massive gulf in the earnings. The average person within the UK would probably earn about 43,000 American dollars equivalent per year, whereas in Tanzania, we can round it up to about $1,000 per year. On the Human Development Index, which shows quality of life, the UK is country 13 out of 189 countries in 2020, whereas Tanzania is 163, suggesting quality of life is far worse in Tanzania. In terms of urban populations, this suggests 2/3 of Tanzania's citizens live in the countryside, with only 1/3 living in cities, whereas the UK is far more urbanised. Most people live in towns or cities. In terms of economic growth, Tanzania is growing at a much quicker rate, but bear in mind it's started from a lower level. The exports are as expected. Tanzania are expecting mainly primary goods, whereas the UK are exporting mainly secondary goods. In terms of imports, Tanzania needs those secondary goods, and the UK needs to import food because it doesn't grow so much of it itself, but also secondary goods as well. Let's move on to look at the economic development part. So, in the 1990s, Tanzania's economic growth rate was 3.5%. In the 2000s, it's moved up to 7% and has continued at about that amount, which is really good. It's had decades of international aid, and this has significantly helped the country to grow. However, growth has been unequal. The extra money has mainly favoured people living in the cities. The richest 20% of Tanzania's population account for 42% of the total consumption of electricity and food, etc. So there's large inequality still. And it's still one of the world's poorest countries. On the Human Development Index, it was positioned 163 out of 189 countries. Its population growth, as we've seen, is huge. 1963 was 11 million people, 2012 45 million people, and it still has 3% annual growth. This isn't so good for the country, it's just more people to have to look after. And Tanzania has not succeeded in raising the productivity of agriculture over the last few decades. It still struggles to feed all of the people within its country. One of the reasons why is there's still lots of corruption within the country. There's a tradition in Africa to favour people within the same tribe as yourself, or favour people within the same family of yourself when it comes to money and jobs and other things such as that, and it slows down the development of the country. However, the government has spent a lot of money trying to improve social conditions for people within the country. Extra money has been spent on water, education and health, and between 2006 and 2013, Tanzania moved up 7 places on the Human Development Index. So that's a really good thing. And the future looks bright. In 2001, large amounts of gold were discovered and mined from the Bulyanhulu gold mine, and Tanzania is now Africa's 3rd largest producer of gold. Later on in 2012, they found major gas reserves off the coast of Tanzania. Now these will bring in lots of money to the country, and Tanzania has spectacular wildlife, bringing in tourism, which provides 18% of the country's GDP.